Hello everybody and welcome back to Pravus Gaming and more Urban Empire in Pravsburg. We've moved on to the Era 3. We are now playing as Karla Kilgannon. And the city's kind of not sure where it wants to go right now, but we're doing really well on education. We're doing really well as far as industry and money and stuff like that. I mean, things are still going great. But now, very soon, we will have an election to worry about. First time we've had to worry about that. And that will be pretty darn fun, if you ask me. So let's go ahead and move forward with the game. We should consider continuing to upgrade some districts. Waltondale, did we decide we were upgrading you? It looks like we did. Are these all... Got a few residents here. This is still considered a low-density building, even though it has quite a few residents living inside of it. Did we ever take Waltondale and upgrade it to a medium density? We did, it's just not really taking root right now. Yeah, there's our first one right there. Okay. So, yeah, interestingly enough, despite the fact that I think the city should be growing rather rapidly, we're finding that we're not growing our density as much as I would like to. And I'm not sure if there's much else that we ought to be doing as far as upgrading the districts. Everyone's really happy. There are probably some modifications I could do as far as increasing more infrastructure, certainly. But let's focus a bit on traffic, I think, in this particular video and make sure that does not come back to haunt us. Tax proposal. Is it a tax reduction? It probably is. Yes. And I will recommend reducing it at least a little bit to get the extra goodwill. The communists are the only ones who are not really thrilled about this idea, but this will increase my political goodwill with the parties, which is incredibly useful if I am going to be getting elected, and also increasing the likelihood that people will vote for the Progressive Party, which is one of the parties that really likes me because of my personality traits, is very advantageous. Avid readers, residents of Brno, are fond of reading. That's great, but they are demanding, too, that they want a library to have larger collection of books and longer operating hours. Give them what they want, which costs us some money. -1? Are you just saying -1 thaler, or that's not possible? Or is this basically warning us that this district is going to want a public library service? Which I already have. We'll give them what they want. The library, okay, so, I mean, it says I spent money, but it can't have been much. The library now has means to get more books and have longer opening hours. The citizens are satisfied. So, that means that more people work at the library. Its range is now improved. More fun and more personal growth in the district. All right, that's not too bad. We're going to start seeing more of those events now that we're in Era 3, I believe. At least anecdotally, I have noticed more of those district-specific events begin happening. Public opinion. Measuring public opinion scientifically is the latest idea transforming the political world. Your city administration conducted its first survey using Gallup's ideas. On public announcement, which finding do you use to summarize how remarkable this new method is? Support for extremists, security concerns, or fear of not finding love? On public announcement, which finding do you use to summarize how remarkable this new method is? I'm not too sure which one, what each of these do. So we found, I suppose this means that we found that there is support for extremists. We found that people are concerned about security, and we have found that people have a fear of not finding love. I'm going to say security concerns, and as a result, the demand for change for everything goes up, which is fine because I have more security. So I've brought people's attention to the fact that there are security concerns. As a result, they demand more. But I'm doing pretty good on that front. It's one of the reasons I didn't want to go for the fear of not finding love in case that really impacted my social life, which right now I am in less of a position to deal with. Now, one thing we could consider doing at some point pretty soon is start increasing some of our services. For example, if I go to Ulrington, well, I can't modify districts right now, so we need to finish this institution first. The water treatment plant should increase our physical environment substantially, which will be very good. That right now is our weakest point, so that solves that problem. Thank you. If I go to something like Ulrington, let's take a look at some services. For example, post office. We already have one up here. We have one over here, so we've more or less covered the area. There's a little bit more that we could probably do, but what other services do we have? Churches, theater, clinic, fire station, grammar school, high school. We haven't built all of these schools, like a high school, for example, but there's not a lot of point in building it in Ulrington, I think. Yeah, there's not as many ways of getting more social life that I would like. What would be good? Could build a clinic up here, but again, no point in building it in this district simply because it's right on the edge of the map. So I'm not going to do it there, but maybe over here we want to consider building some more stuff, such as the clinic. So let's take a quick look at that. Clinic. If I place you, let's say, over here, it's going to take up a lot of buildings, but could do it right here, though. That would impact a few extra areas. But it also has a lot of overlap with an existing clinic, so I guess it would make more sense to put it up here. Yeah. That would be more sensible. Right here is actually a pretty good location. Let's go ahead and do that. There we go. And also... Fire station is something I'm thinking about placing. We haven't got any of these yet, and this would be kind of useful. Very large radius on the fire station. Very large. This is pretty good. Let's go ahead and place that as well. So we're going to go ahead and build up a couple more services. The Freedom Party is also a little bit shaky about that. They generally don't appreciate any government expenditure on pretty much anything, honestly. But we'll be okay. The Progressive Party is appealing the Communist Party. That's fine. We should take a look at this. We can not upgrade the water treatment plant yet because we haven't upgraded that, so that'll be fine. You know, I am sort of surprised that more parties are not requesting that we reduce taxes. We've been sitting with such a surplus for a long time. Typically, I don't reduce this on my own accord, because if the city's still growing, then I don't necessarily need to. But also, it's a very good way of getting some free goodwill with a party, as we just saw at the beginning of this video, when a party requests that we reduce taxes. I've been kind of expecting the parties to do that a lot more than they have been, so I'm really surprised they're letting me get away with this, but alright. Public transport. The Social Democrats have proposed making public transport free for every citizen. So, do I support it or oppose? There will be a council vote no matter what. This is going to increase the costs of the metro, bus network, and tram line, but all citizens will have more money they can spend. Now, I don't have any of these, so having extra money, this is another one of those situations where I'm not too sure how it works in the game's mechanics. It seems to me that if we pass this, all citizens will have more money they can spend, period. And then it also impacts these services, which I don't have. So, intuitively, if I had these services, it would mean to me that, oh, people are now saving money, but I'm not sure it works that way. I don't know if I'm making any sense here. What I'm trying to say is, are these connected to each other, or are they separate benefits? So if I pass this and never build a metro, tram line, or a bus network, does that mean that I get this benefit of extra money for all citizens and no cost? It is always good? I'm going to support it. I do think it's a good idea regardless. The Freedom Party completely disagrees on that point, but that's fine. And the Social Democrats, which is another party that I do like, is much happier with me, so that is nice. Modify the district. We are going to go ahead and upgrade those services, as I promised. That is fun. We should definitely start focusing on upgrading our infrastructure a bit more, since we have the money, and while we're waiting for some districts to upgrade into a medium density, we might as well go ahead and start paying for some of that. So let's take a look at Waltondale, for example, where we already have electricity. Farnham has it. Hackthorne does not. So let's go ahead and modify this. Infrastructure, I'm going to upgrade the roads to a simple cobblestone. We are going to be upgrading the electric grid and adding in electric street lights. Don't need to do any of these, at least at the moment. Let's go ahead and confirm and propose. Now, eventually, I'm going to want to start adding in telephone networks. Not sure that I need to do that right now, certainly not in a low-density district, but eventually those will be useful. Modifying taxes is now available. Excellent. By the way, one other thing to consider is that as you are upgrading certain infrastructure grids, that might also change what kind of services are available in that district. So, for example, if we do not have the telephone line, we cannot use the police telephone boxes, because that's not all hooked up. So that's something to consider. It does increase your options. Now we've just reduced taxes slightly. It's not going to impact me too much. The Progressive Party wins the elections with the moderates coming in support, or second place. Very good for me. Tax proposal, there we go. Moderate Party is claiming that the elites are burdened by heavy taxes. Sure, I will support it. I'm not allowed to say no. Only the Emperor's nominee is allowed to say no to... How does... Oh, I see. Okay, so the question isn't whether I support it. The question is whether or not I allow the council to make the proposal. Now that we are not an imperial system and it's fully democratic, I do not have the authority to deny people the right to vote on something if they want to propose their own bills. The only question now is whether I support or oppose. I'm going to say I support it. A lot of people do not, which is fine. And as a result, I get extra goodwill with the moderate party, and also they're more likely to get voted in. But there are no downsides for me doing that. All right, here is the new vote that is coming up, and that is the character we're against. Look at all the swing parties. They're not completely sure that they want to go with me. There is a new vote every 6 years. We need to go ahead and go to the vote on the mayor, and right now it looks like we're going to be fine, but now is a good opportunity to start spending some of our goodwill to try and swing parties to our side. No idea who this lady is, but I don't like her. So let's go to, let's say, the Central Party. And we can plead with them. We have 2 goodwill. We might as well spend it because it will tick back up to its natural resting point. So this result would greatly improve workers' lives. The Central Party, sure. There we go. A little bit more in my favor. Actually, right now it says it's against me. That's very interesting. Let's go to the Christian Democratic Party. Praise the positive effects behind my position. Sure, they like that. Let's go to the Moderate Party, where I have a lot of goodwill with them. You owe me this one? Sure. There we go. Only reduced it by 1, and next month we can always do this. That's the thing. When I have found, in Era 3 and beyond, once the elections begin, do not assume that just because you're doing really well, people are going to continue voting for you. Always pay attention, do not get complacent. Parties will be trying to persuade each other. Check in every couple of months and make sure that you're going to be good. We have a lot of goodwill with the Progressive Party. Let's explain the importance of this vote in a newspaper, populist opinion. There we go, that made a pretty good impact. The Communists, not very important, I don't have any goodwill with them. Freedom Party, I do have some goodwill. Let's plead with them. Praise the effects behind my position. The markets have been doing very well under me. And of course, there's the Social Democrats if I can find them, which I did. And we will not demand anything. This will create a new future. Sure, why not? And that got a lot of favor with them. Oh, yeah, perfect. All right. So it still says it's going to be a very tight vote, in part because some of the larger parties are against me. I'm kind of surprised by this one. I would have thought that just having the Progressive Party and the Social Democrats on my side would have done a lot. The Freedom Party and the Communists are kind of inconsequential, though, so that's probably the part of the problem. So we'll continue trying to persuade them as time goes on. Do not get complacent as you play this game. Be prepared, because even though you've done really well, it is entirely possible to just suddenly spontaneously lose. And that would rather suck for, I think, obvious reasons. So, okay. Still modifying some districts, still working on some edicts, still worrying about the vote. Let's go back and take another look at the vote here and make sure that we're looking okay. Okay, now it says that a lot of people who were swing votes, undecided, are now on my favor. We can go back to the Moderate Party and we'll plead with them again. I know you are smart enough to vote the way I do. Sure, sounds a little arrogant, but it worked. There we go, -2 goodwill, +3. Now I think I'm fairly comfortable, but we'll continue keeping an eye on this, make sure that we don't get blindsided by anything. But I feel pretty good about this right now. One other thing that we could consider doing is reducing our own personal salary in order to try and improve our resting goodwill with these political parties. That certainly is an option. Now let's go ahead and take a look at city traffic, because I am worried about this. Edgeville and Thornton, for example, are getting kind of capped out, these two up here. So we definitely need to be paying more attention to our industry. We've been allowing our infrastructure to go kind of lax here. Miss Pravsburg, you came up with the idea of a beauty pageant to choose Miss Pravsburg and appointed yourself as the main judge. What should the winner of the pageant be like? Young, healthy, beautiful, modest with a good reputation. I'm going to say that the people of Pravsburg should vote, not me. And as a result, I am more of a populist, and fun for the entire city goes up. Yay! There she is, Miss Pravsburg. It doesn't quite roll off the tongue, does it? I can get my marketing people working on that later, don't you worry. All right, how are we looking as far as the vote? Right now, I'm feeling very comfortable with this, so I actually don't think I'm going to spend any more political goodwill. There we go. We have finished public opinion, so now we have a new mechanic that we need to look into. First off, let's just say that we have unlocked the park, which is a better recreational public service. Unlocked Twin Cities, which I'll talk about in a minute. Unlock Delegations View, which I'm not... This is something new that I don't... Oh, no, sorry. This is tied into Twin Cities. For some reason, I was looking at this like delegates in a city council, but no, I'm sorry. This is the new map mode to view the Twin Cities. So we'll talk about this in a second. We've also unlocked the advertising industry. All right, Progress Cloud. Could work on divorce. Could work on entertainment. That could be good. Appliances are not a bad idea now that we're in the new era and the demand has gone up. Department stores could be pretty nice. Also improving the water treatment plant, which is good for our physical environment. I like that idea. Antibiotics is a new thing, though. Second-hand store. So like a thrift shop. And then an upgrade for the central hospital for health. I'm going to go for appliances, I think. Let's go ahead and start with that. Let's vote on modifying up our taxes. So we should be, we're not going to be reducing the taxes on the elite. The moderate party loses this vote, which is fine by me. Was not really in favor of this to begin with. I just go with the council. Free public transportation. Everyone supports this one, except for the Freedom Party. Well, I mean, the majority of them actually is in our favor, so it ended up being fine. So everyone has more money they can spend, and it increases costs of services I do not use. Also, modifying the district, trying to improve a few things. So there we go. All right, how's this looking? Good. So, now we need to look at the trade deals. This is the delegation view that I was talking about. So this is a whole new map mode. Choose a city that you wish to conclude a partnership agreement with. Right? So we get to choose a major city somewhere in the world, and they'll provide some sort of benefit by being partnered up with us. For example, if we go to Oxford. Oxford was founded over a millennia ago, and while it has remained a relatively small city, it is world-renowned. Home to one of the world's best universities, Oxford remains a hub of education, business, and culture. Right? And we can look at some of the specific things that they will do for us. So, for example, they will either, well, it's not very obvious how this works, but basically we spend some money and it greatly improves the effectiveness of certain kinds of buildings or services. So grammar schools, or public libraries, or universities. San Francisco, being among the most liberal cities in the world, San Francisco is the cradle of the sexual revolution and hippie movement, which I immediately am not as inclined to do so, but we'll see. Together with famous landmarks such as Golden Gate Bridge, this has made San Francisco an important tourist destination and economic hub. We can improve the courthouse, the fire station, or the radio tower. Radio tower is pretty good. San Francisco's pretty decent option. And then lastly, we have Sydney. Originally a penal colony, Sydney has grown to become the most important western harbour city in the southern hemisphere. Cultural capital of Australia, Sydney boasts a rich cultural life and large population. Improve the theatre for more fun, which is pretty good for us. Post office for social life, which is also quite good. And the port. Honestly, I'm inclined to think that Sydney is going to be the best for us at this point in the game. Why is it acting as if we're in, like, Africa? I'm pretty sure Sorelia, in the fictional setting they've put us in, would be located somewhere around here. Pretty sure. I do think that Sydney might be our best option. I'm going to go for... Well, okay, do I want to go for... Maybe I'll go for San Francisco and the radio tower. I do think that that's pretty strong. I wish it gave it... it made it a little bit more clear what this would do for us, though. It's not quite as clear as I would like it to be. In fact, can we look at logbook, advisor log... Let's see, hang on. Twin cities, there we go. Okay. We can now establish mutually beneficial relationships. Benefits to having a twin city costs us money, but it gives us bonuses to Wheel of Life's values, brain power, etc. Choose a different city. In the events that follows, you can choose what matters you wish to improve with the help of the new twin city. The choice affects the bonuses you will receive from the exchange. There are multiple cities to choose from, and each of the cities will provide different bonuses. You should choose a twin city that best suits your needs. Actually, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you don't just pick one thing. Maybe it's just cycling through and showing you the 3 different things that are going to be improved. If that's the case, then I think we absolutely have to go with Sydney. We actually stand to profit from all 3 of these right now, and I don't need the personal growth from Oxford, so I'm going to go ahead and do this. Your decision to reach out to the other side of the world was well received within the city administration. Everyone is curious to find out how the former penal colony has managed to create such a strong social fabric in the country from a starting point like that. After all, if they have managed to do it, then Sorelia should have no trouble doing so either. Your interest during the visit therefore focuses on helping public services can help a national identity, how to inspire the population, or how to overcome financial constraints. I'm going to say how to inspire the population? This might improve the effectiveness of all my public services. This might help me save money. I don't know what this does. This might be just like a happiness boost. I'm going to say how to overcome financial constraints. And as a result, city funds, minus 50,000 because we established that, but also an efficiency bonus, helping all companies sell more for the theater. So our theaters just became more effective. Okay, well that'll improve our fund. That's not quite what I had in mind, but okay. The delegation is a success. You come to realize that facilitating change doesn't necessarily mean that employees need to do everything. Providing an area for certain activities may be enough and people will take care of the rest. Alright, well, okay, that's not quite what I had in mind, but again, the Twin Cities is actually a mechanic I did not play with a lot back in the day, so that's something fun. Let's take a quick look-see at the vote here for the mayor. It looks like we have to begin voting pretty soon here. Still says that I should win, so let's go ahead and begin the vote now. And sure enough, I am going to win the election. But it is tighter than you would think. I mean, look at this. Heck, even the communists voted against me when they said that they would. They were a swing party, but still. So that's something to be concerned about. But either way, we have now 6 years until the next election. We can breathe a sigh of relief for at least a while. And the game does autosave before every major election, so that's something to keep in mind. Now, in Thornton, let's go ahead and start upgrading some infrastructure. In fact, let's go ahead and just make this a medium density. I don't really see any reason not to. We have the money and the industrial demand. We will be upgrading the roads, at least to that. Let's go ahead and place in a sewer system. Let's go ahead and hook up the electric grid. And we could actually look at reducing traffic in a few other ways, but at least with the stone roads, I think for now we're okay. So let's go ahead and place all of these services and be done with that and kind of move on. Anything else that we need to be worried about right now? We could pass some new edicts. Let's go ahead and take a look. Edicts. We have some of the old stuff that we're used to. Support for the poor families is very expensive. I don't really see much point for family planning right now because more population is okay for me. I don't want to close this down, and I don't think anyone's going to support it at this point in the game. Road surface marking could be okay. But it does increase the cost of my entire city by 2%. We don't need security that much. Traffic signs does something very similar. The Free Education Act, though. Total brain power produced in the city. Why is it showing money here? Not sure. But citizens have a lot more money to spend. It does increase the costs of all my schools, but I'm okay with this. Let's go ahead and pass it. I think it should win in a landslide. Not that we need more personal growth, but it's certainly not going to hurt to have our citizens give more money to spend on services. I like that idea, so we'll do it anyway. Status of women in society. The end of the Great War has brought many changes to the role of women. What do you think is the greatest change? More relaxed social norms, wider access to workforce, wider access to education, greater ability to choose a life partner. I'm going to say a wider access to education. That increases the personal growth for all women. Actually, not that important. I probably should have gone for social life. I was wondering if that would give me brain power. But either way, I mean, ultimately, I don't think it matters that much. It's not like it's a game-breaking change. We haven't screwed ourselves horribly. But anyway, district has been modified. Good. That should improve our traffic a little bit. Let's take a look at the districts. Any emergencies? Yes. Edgeville and Thornton again. But that should be reevaluated pretty soon. So let's go to Edgeville. Modify. Infrastructure. We may even want to upgrade the roads twice. I'm not sure there's a reason not to. Let's go ahead and do that. Sewer system. Upgrade electricity. We're not going to upgrade it to a medium density right now. Confirm, propose, done. I really need to reduce traffic. We have been doing really well on traffic for a long time, but now it's coming back to bite us pretty hard. So, okay. Kilborough is almost fully upgraded to medium density. I do think that we may want to consider opening up another district to start getting upgraded. How are we looking over here where we had commercial? Not great. And surprisingly, Smithton here is not doing very well because our commercial demand has plummeted. So I don't know, maybe upgrading to a medium density district is not that important right now. Really what we need to be doing is focusing on modifying districts and adding in more infrastructure. That should be our primary goal right now. Would love to see that happen. Alright, theater funding. Yeah, alright, I'll support it. That'll be fine. The communists like me more. Unfortunately, now people are more likely to vote for communists, which I'm not perhaps really that thrilled about, but alright, we'll go with it anyway. More taking criticism. I will ask him what we can do better. And I have improved the personal growth of the entire city. So does that, again, contribute to the whole remarkable city? Yes, it does. It's just several levels of taking criticism. I feel like there ought to be a bit more than that. But alright, modify district. Let's go ahead and vote. Upgrade our infrastructure for industrial demand again. Try to meet all of that. Exit. Free Education Act. Again, it's not super duper importance that we are improving personal growth, but it certainly won't hurt. More brain power and more money for our citizens to spend is also a pretty good thing for us right about now. Yep, everyone's going to be a lot happier. Woof. All right. Look at the city data. Districts. Traffic. Edgeville. This thing up here. Hello. We should modify you. Let's go ahead and upgrade the roads. We'll just go ahead and do it twice. We've got the money. We might as well. Upgrade the sewers. Upgrade the electricity. And I'm not going to make it medium density right now. No need. We haven't filled out everything yet. I like how the factories are looking more modern as time goes on. All the industrial stuff. It's pretty cool looking if you ask me. Pretty cool. Any upgrades for this yet? No, not yet. All right. Looks like Edgeville and Thornton are upgrading to their medium density stuff. Wait, no. Thornton's not medium density. That was just a new building. But, sorry, Edgeville is not. But Thornton is. It is hereby proposed that citizens shall be allowed to vote in order to choose their own democratic representatives in government. I absolutely support this. It's another state law. The Freedom Party, amazingly, is against freedom. How bizarre. Bill proposes no income threshold for voters. A new law may soon give citizens the right to vote for a publicly elected leader regardless of their personal wealth. The proposal, described by the Anti-Democracy League in a statement as plutocracy with a sour dose of populism, is expected to split opinion among politicians, some of whom have reportedly received excessive deliveries of flowers from everyday citizens trying to sway their opinions. Also, the German currency is suffering runaway inflation, which is, of course, one of the major reasons that the Nazi Party became popular in Germany at the time in the beginning. But all right, that's a bad thing. Anyway, yeah, I don't know why the Freedom Party would be opposed to that. That seems... I mean, I don't actually understand why the Freedom Party is considered so conservative. If it's far right, far liberal, then I would expect it to be kind of like the anarcho-capitalists' very radical freedom kind of party, but for some reason it's not. Modify the district, again, trying to improve that traffic, bit by little bit. May need to start adding in some trams and stuff like that at some point, but let's continue paying attention to the city data here. Districts. Okay, that still needs to be improved. Smithmere is the next one on the list, which is this one. Oh, okay, we haven't had to upgrade a medium density district, residential district in a while, so that's good. Let's go ahead and modify you. Infrastructure. Roads. Where'd you go? There you are. All right, we can upgrade you at least once to stone surfaces. Do we want to add in the first telephone line? We could. I don't think it's incredibly important, but let's just go ahead and do it at least on one, and I'll show you guys how this one works. So now that we have this done, we have access to the police call box, which improves security, and the phone booth, which improves security and physical environment, which is kind of nice. It's not so bad, really. It's not so bad at all. Traffic lights would improve our traffic. They don't cost a ton. Bus network is far more expensive. Tram line, pretty expensive as well. I mean, these do not cost a lot to improve our security. I'm going to go ahead and at least add in the phone booth here. Why not? But I think that's all I'm going to do, at least for the time being. Let's go ahead and propose this district. Do I want to use my personal funds? It's 200,000. Yeah, all right, let's go ahead and just use our personal funds to get it done immediately. Then we'll go to the next district having problems, which is Ailstow, which is where? It's over here, I thought. Actually, maybe that's an industrial. Yes, I stand corrected. That is an industrial district. All right. There you are. Hello. Go to you. Modify. Infrastructure. Upgrade to asphalt. Upgrade the sewers. Nothing else is necessary at the time. Confirm, propose, done. Thank you very much. All right, I need to be ending up this video because we are out of time. I am a little disappointed the game's performance does seem to be declining as the game goes on. I did not have this problem last time I played, but now I see what a lot of people have been complaining about, so a little disappointing, but we'll do the best we can. Thank you all very much for watching. I do hope that you enjoyed this video. Be sure to hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe, and I, as always, will see you guys next time.